Hello, superfans. Welcome to Alberta News Reviews. Today, Donald Trump announces 25% tariffs on new cars built outside of the United States. Yes, that includes Canada and Mexico. And OMG, are our politicians in a frenzy? They are going nuts. It is unbelievable. Let's jump right into this mess. From David Jacobs. And there you have it, a death blow to the Canadian auto sector from our friends down south. So now do we elect Carney, who is obsessed with net zero emissions, or do we elect Pierre Poilievre, who is ready to unleash the full force of the Canadian economy? Choose wisely. There's more to this that our media is not telling you, and I will show you it in a millisecond. But first, Donald Trump.
A lot of things that they've been taking over the years. They've taken so much out of our country, friend and foe, and frankly, friend has been oftentimes much worse than foe. And this is very modest. What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff. We start off with a 2.5% base, which is what we were at, and we go to 25%. And basically, as you know, and as you've been saying, not reporting as accurately as it should be reported because it's a massive story. Business is coming back to the United States so that they don't have to pay tariffs. And I think also because of November 5th, the election, they're very happy. AI is coming back to levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's a new, sort of a new business, I guess, when you think about it. But it's plants are going up all over the United States, and many of them have already been started.
This is true. Hyundai just announced a $20 billion investment in the United States. There's more to this story. I'll show you this right here from Kirk Lubimov. Donald Trump administration is looking to make auto loans on American-made cars tax deductible for people. Yeah. Quote, "We are trying to get it approved if we can. If you borrow money to buy a car, you are allowed to deduct interest payments for purposes of income tax, but only if the car is made in America." Think of all of the manufacturers now that will be building in the United States. This is huge. It's all but over for Canada's auto industry. Why? Because Canada doesn't have an auto industry. Check this out.
We're trying to get approved, if we can. If you borrow money to buy a car, you're allowed to deduct interest payments for purposes of income tax, but only if the car is made in America. So if the car is made in America, you get a loan, you can deduct the interest. That's a big saving.
That's a huge savings when you think about families and how much of their expenses go towards owning a new vehicle. Seriously. This is the kind of innovative thinking that could only be possible with Western independence. Of course. Mark Carney gets asked if he is going to finally talk with Donald Trump. He still hasn't talked to Donald Trump yet. Regarding the newly introduced tariffs, he says he thinks it should happen soon, but won't give a time frame. He then rushes off the stage, taking no more questions. I still can't believe he hasn't spoken to the President of the United States yet. Yes, it's from Ryan Garrettson. Check this out. And there's a reason Donald Trump has not talked to Mark Carney, because he doesn't care and he doesn't have to. Mark Carney is under investigation in the United States. And I believe that is an ace that Donald Trump has that he can use against him. If Mark Carney gets elected as prime minister, he'll say, I don't have to deal with him. He's a criminal. He's under investigation. This is what he's done. Check this out.
I think it would be appropriate that the President and I speak, given the action that he's taken. I'm sure that it will happen soon. I'm not going to give you a precise timing on that. In terms of options, which was the second part of Ms. Martin's question, even during a caretaker period of government, we have anticipated this possibility. We have put in place the mechanisms so that if it is appropriate for retaliatory tariffs, and there's many considerations, to be taken in those regards, and I want to have the meeting of our cabinet, Canada-U.S. cabinet, other considerations. We need to see the details of the executive order, but we will take the steps that are in the interests of Canadian workers, of Canada. We are going to stand up for Canada. We're going to be united, and we will fight in a unified way. And I would say, if I may, and I will, Lana and Ms. Payne can speak for herself, obviously, the discussions that we've had, the discussions I've had with Premier Ford, we're entirely aligned in terms of the seriousness with which we're taking this and the seriousness of our response. Thank you very much.
What do you think the odds are Mark Carney declares some kind of, gives himself emergency powers or calls some kind of state of emergency, so there's no election and it just continues on until fill in the blank? It's astounding because he is the type of person that would do that. And what is this? He's just saying that he's in the caretaker transition role, something like that, as the prime minister? This is the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee. You can find this online easily. This is right here how Mark Carney is being investigated. It is the sustainability shakedown, how a climate cartel of money managers colluded to take over the board of America's largest energy company. He is a weasel. This is why Donald Trump doesn't have to talk to him. He's under investigation. Continuing on. Carbon Tax Carney says that he is aligned with Doug Ford in retaliatory tariffs. Don't do this, Canada. Don't do anything retaliatory. All it does is it super punishes us. And I'll show you why in a sec. President Trump is at it again. This is what Doug Ford is saying. His 25% tariffs on cars and light trucks will do nothing more than increase car costs for hardworking American families. U.S. markets are already on the decline as the president causes more chaos and uncertainty. He is putting American jobs at risk. I've spoken with Prime Minister Carney. We agree Canada needs to stand firm, strong, and united. I fully support the federal government preparing retaliatory tariffs to show that we will never back down. Our inflation is going to go through the roof. The reason why I'm saying that it's just going to hurt us is because of this reason right here. This is economic growth and projections, okay? This is real GDP growth per capita. Canada is doing worse out of the G7, and by far, like absolutely terrible. Do you think it's wise to poke the bear that is growing exponentially compared to us? Or do you think it'd be a better approach like Danielle Smith is doing and maybe go and talk to them and work with them and figure it out? It's not like we're losing. We've already lost. We can't play this game. We are way too dependent on the United States. Canada has sold out its manufacturing years ago. This is the product of years and years and years of neglect and not acting like a serious country. From Pierre Poilievre, he says, "My message to Canadian families tonight. We will be there for you, and we will unite as Canadians to protect our affected sectors. Now is the time to take back control and relaunch our economy so that we can confront President Trump's unjustified threats and tariffs from a position of strength. We will do this for our people, for our land, for our home, for Canada first, for a change." Listen to this.
Thank you very much. I want to start by condemning, without equivocation, the unjustified and unprovoked tariffs that President Trump has now announced against our auto sector. These tariffs will damage his workers and his economy, just as they will damage ours. We must retaliate and target goods and services that we don't need, can buy elsewhere, or make ourselves to maximize the impact on the Americans while minimizing the impact on ourselves. But before I go any further about these unjustified tariffs and how we're going to respond to them, let me speak to the workers in the auto sector. You're afraid right now. You're anxious. You wonder how you're going to pay your mortgage or put food on the table. You're thinking about the conversations you may need to have with your little children about whether they can register for next year's hockey or this summer's soccer. You don't know if you'll be able to stay in the same city or what's going to happen to your future. Canada will be there for you. We will be there for you. We will ensure that you have income replacement to put food on the table and money in your bank account. We'll make sure that businesses directly affected will have the liquidity they need to get through this dispute. And we will unite as Canadians to protect our affected sectors. But more than that, we need to become strong, self-reliant, sovereign, so that we can stand on our own 2 feet and stand up to the Americans. What is clear is that 10 years of economic weakness have made us more reliant than ever on the Americans. 75% of our exports go to one country. Almost all of our energy, most of our raw materials go south because we can't get them anywhere else. We need to take drastic action to build an economic fortress in Canada, able to reach other markets around the world, repealing the anti-pipeline law, rapidly building LNG liquefaction plants, mines, factories, expanding and making our ports functional so that we can move our goods to other places around the world, knocking down the barriers between our provinces so that we can trade with ourselves for a change. Passing a bring it home tax cut on work, investment, home building, and energy to make this the best place in the world to bring back the $500 billion that Liberals pushed out of the country over the last decade. Then and only then will we be able to properly stand up to the Americans and stand up for ourselves. Now is not a time for weakness. Now is not a time to continue on with the failures that got us into this place of dependency. Now is the time to take back control and relaunch our economy so that we can confront the President's unjustified threats and tariffs in a position of strength. We will do this for our people, for our land, for our home, for Canada first, for a change. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think they went about this the wrong way, right from the very beginning. Live to fight another day. Absolutely. What we should be doing, what I think they should be doing, is not this retaliatory tariff stuff. Definitely what the approach of Danielle Smith. We got to negotiate. We got to kind of accept what is going on right now, and power through it through negotiations and work through it and align with the United States. So, while at the meantime, learn from the mistakes of the past and build a monster economy and a properly functioning society with Western independence. That's why we need Western independence. That's why all roads lead to Western independence, because Canada itself, it just can't do it anymore. Those days are gone. Productivity, immigration, housing, healthcare. We got so many problems here, division, all of these things. Canada's gone. There's no way that there can be a strong, focused, united front to build anything like they are talking about, mainly because the greed here, it's just, it's ensnared. It's caught all of our systems, all of our politicians that could do any kind of right now or have any kind of conscience. It's just gone. Seriously, it's gone. The only way that Canada could survive this is to absolutely get rid of the federal government, have provincial independence with complete reform, free trade, actual free trade. They put their heads down, eliminate all of the bloated government, decimate taxes, so money stays within the communities so they could spend it properly. I'm talking like complete reform. But if you're doing that, we might as well have Western independence. Danielle Smith lashes out at carbon tax, Carney, Liberals, and NDP for doing nothing on tariffs except for indulging in self-righteous tantrums and retaliatory tariffs. As for her campaign to sell Americans on free trade, Smith said, "I will not be silent. Alberta will not be silent." Here is Mama Bear, the best premier in Canada by far. Danielle Smith.
And I am now off to the US yet again to try and speak to Americans, this time through the second largest podcaster in the world, whose audience is made up of exactly the people we need to persuade to convince their president to change course on tariffs against Canada. And what does Team Carney want me to do? They want me to abandon my post, remain in Alberta, and do absolutely nothing to defend our province. They want me to cower in the face of Eastern media pundits and politicians who favor political grandstanding to effective diplomacy. I'm fiercely criticized for going into the lion's den to change the hearts and minds of the very Americans that we need on Canada's side to avoid a trade war with the most powerful economy on earth. They want this lady and Alberta to just sit down and shut up. Well, here is my response to that. I will not be silent. Alberta will not be silent. We will not be pushed around and called traitors for merely having the courage to actually do something about our nation's and province's predicament other than merely indulging in self-righteous tantrums. And I, for one, will never be silenced by the party in Ottawa that has sold out our beloved province for the last 10 years with the help of their NDP collaborators.
Absolutely. Danielle Smith is she's on a different level than any politician in Canada. Seriously, that woman loves Alberta and she wants to see this place. She wants to see Alberta prosper big time. And she knows the best way to do that is to align and work with the United States. So you can get on board with that, because they're going to skyrocket financially and economically. All of them. They're going to be way better off than we are. You know, aside from all the craziness that is happening, I heard that the real reason for all of this trade war tariff stuff is because Donald Trump is purposely doing this to drag everything down, to get all investment and all of the crooked stuff, like just all of the bogus money, to deflate and collapse, to bring the U.S. debt down, so he can refinance it at a way lower interest rate to save $1 bazillion, while at the same time accelerating and growing this brand new type of U.S. economy backed by cryptocurrency, which is backed by gold. A new system, a new global currency system that no other country could even think of competing with unless they mirrored exactly what is going on, which is why I'm saying we need Western independence or a 51st state or something like that, because we need to grow with the United States, not grow away from the United States. I will keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care, and follow me on Substack, Spotify, and of course, YouTube.